In the welterweight division, Leon Rocky Edwards coming off of a dominant performance over Kobe Chaos
That's
Covington,
news flash.
back-to-back wins over Kamaru Usman, who's the second best welterweight of all time,
He's the
takes
best.
on the most boring fighter in the history of the division, Belal. Put you to sleep, Muhammad. In a fight that has been talked about for quite some time now, finally gets made in Manchester in front of the hometown crowd for Leon once again. Hebs, how do you see this welterweight title matchup playing out?
Two guys who fought, or in both these headliner and co-headliner, we've seen two rematches, but two fights that ended in very underwhelming fashion. Leon Edwards, when he was in that weird, he was a top fighter. No one really wanted to fight him. All these pullouts, injuries, kind of had the worst luck in the world. Obviously, he ended up being the luckiest guy in the world with the luckiest knockout ever. But again, some stories for different times here. Belal Muhammad stepped in on short notice during COVID to fight him. Leon came out, maybe looked the best or at least most aggressive we've ever seen him. People talk about how bad Belal has to be for Leon Edwards to be active at all because he's a very boring, kind of just like pick and poke fighter. We saw him come out in the first round, the most aggressive we've ever seen him. We saw him look awesome. He wobbled Belal. He looked unbelievable in that fight. A couple eye pokes later, a couple Belal tears later, fight gets called off. We don't see a winner. Obviously, that's the most underwhelming way that a UFC fight can end. So, Belal, since then, they both have not lost. We've seen Leon Edwards win the belt in spectacular fashion. We saw him defend again against Kamaru in kind of dominant fashion. And then we saw him dominate Colby Covington. So for the last 5 years, this welterweight division was dominated by Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, and then Leon Edwards just handles them both pretty easily. So he's clearly on top of the world right now. But Belal Muhammad has not lost in a very long time. Obviously, he didn't win against Leon, but I think it's like 10 or 11 in a row unbeaten, so like not counting the Leon fight. But he does not really do it in spectacular fashion, right? He's like as boring as it gets, lay and pray. He does have an underrated body kick. I will say that. His kicks are his best weapon on the feet. He's really got no power in his hands. The guy knocked out Sean Brady, which is still one of the oddest things ever. But ever since this guy's been in the top 5 and been fighting like top contenders for a while, and like, you know, they've done everything to not give him a title shot. Then when he fought, there's always kind of seems to be somewhat of an asterisk, right? And then he fights Gilbert Burns. Gilbert had just fought a month before in Miami versus Jorge. He had fought a couple months before. I think it was his third fight in like 3 or 4 months, and he just got injured in the first round. And you still couldn't finish an injured Gilbert Burns, dude. So that fight was not very impressive. And that was his last fight, right? That was last year in like May or April, something like that. So he hasn't fought since. He's just been waiting on the sideline for the title shot. They obviously gave it to Colby. This guy's been getting more and more hate and kind of deserve. I don't know if I think he's leaning into it at least a little bit, but like, I don't know. Guy does not have very much charisma. He does have a big nose, and he is jacked, dude. This guy is jacked. I think, speaking of the post-USADA era, I mean, this guy is fucking juiced to the gills, bro. He is massive. So who knows what he's on. And speaking of physiques, this is getting a little weird here, but Leon, a battle of some very good physiques. I can leave it at that. I'm getting a little excited, but I don't know. Leon's way more talented, bro. Like, I don't really see anything that Belal has for him on the feet. And, like, Belal, as good of a wrestler as he is, and I'm not hating on him. The guy's got great wrestling, but, like, we don't see him. There's no threat of submission. Has he subbed anyone, dude? Like, not on this win streak. I mean, he knocked out Sean Brady in, like, a weird way, but, like, guy has no power in his hands. He's not really he doesn't give you any problems on the feet. And there isn't really any threat of submission. He's not like vicious ground and pound. He's a lay and pray guy. So like what he has for Leon, I don't know. We've seen Leon with some of the best takedown defense in the sport. We saw him go head to head with two guys who were considered like two of the best wrestlers in MMA, and Kamaru and Colby. And neither of them had anything for him on the ground. So, and he was taking both of them down. So impressive, man. I mean, Leon, again, is a kind of a boring guy. He doesn't finish people, but he is very high level. So I don't know. I've been back and forth in this fight. I'm a little bit surprised by the line, to be honest with you, but It's very hard to pick against Leon, right? I got to go with Leon Edwards in his home state or home country. Like, it's hard. You can't pick against Leon Edwards, right? Like, I don't know how the fight's going to go down. I think it's probably minus about $1 million to be a go to decision. Neither of these guys are going to finish, but I hope Leon comes out and he is aggressive. Like, he needs to put this reputation to rest where, like, everyone's just making fun of him for being a point fighter. Come out in front of your hometown fans and fucking go for the finish, right? I think, like, that's the only. Belal Muhammad, I faked you out once again. Remember the name, the biggest star in the welterweight division. The guy's gonna get it done. How could he not finish this story, man? He's been calling out Leon for the last couple of years since the last time they fought. I think Leon is a bum, and I think Belal Muhammad is going. He's not going to win by knockout. So I'm going to go Leon, or fuck, I keep messing up the names. I got Belal Muhammad. Remember the name by decision. I think it'll be a close fight, but I just have a weird feeling about this fight. And everything we've seen, all these guys become champion in the most unpredictable ways. Sean Strickland, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Why not? Belal Muhammad. He looks like the guy from Sausage Party, that big meme. He looks like a tortilla from Sausage Party. I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm sorry, but I got Belal Muhammad finishing the story. Remember the name, riding off into the sunset. Belal Muhammad wins. Who do you have?
Yeah, man. Like you said, it's not the most exciting matchup. It's not like a Pereira versus Prohashka where you know someone's getting KO'd type of matchup, but it is a high level fight in this division. And although it might not be the most entertaining, I think this is one that is a true, it's going to be who can execute their game plan and fight their fight come fight night. And, you talk about Leon Edwards, a guy that is on arguably the best run in the sport right now. Can't tell you the last time he lost. I think it was to Kamaru, 2000, like 15 or something like that.
Yeah, a long time ago.
He's on a really great run, and it's fighters like this that I think deserve to be very high up in the pound for pound rankings. Like I although Alex is on this special run, I just don't see how Alex Pereira should be ranked higher than a guy like Leon Edwards on the pound for pound rankings. And
he finishes fight.
That's a credit to Leon, because like people talk about, Leon's not the most entertaining fighter and he's a point fighter and this and that, but dude, he's fighting like the best grapplers in his division on this run. And we talk, like, again, going back to what we talked about when it's like a one-dimensional fight where you could be so aggressive on your front foot and with your strikes because there's no threat of a takedown coming back. Like, bro, this guy's been fighting Kobe Covington, Kamaru Usman's, like, he's fighting who's who grapplers in this sport, and they're guys that you just go out and press Kamaru Usman or Kobe. They're just going to take you down and win that fight all day, every day. And he's still managing to put together nice striking combinations and win these fights on points against grapplers, even getting into grappling exchanges with these high-level grapplers, showing that he can go 5 hard rounds with grappling, striking, everything, scrambles. And, dude, like, the more I look at the fight, like you said, I do have a feeling that Belal could definitely grind this one out and get a win here. But I just look at it like, dude, we're in England. Let's call a spade a spade. Dana doesn't want Belal holding this belt. The UFC doesn't want Belal as champion. They want the hometown. Dude, Belal doesn't sell anything. At least Leon, you got a shot at selling something in Manchester, and you got the European fan base. Belal doesn't sell nothing. I don't know if he could sell out my high school basketball arena. All right, let's call it spade a spade. But
big arena.
But I'm gonna lean with the champion. I'm gonna lean with the guy who has a little bit more experience and go with Leon to get this one done via decision. And I could almost see it being like a Belal. Belal throwing his high right kick that he throws, his little 1-2s, putting Leon up against the fence. A very, very boring fight. I could see it being that, and I could just see Leon landing a couple exchanges each round, maybe mixing in, defending a few takedowns. Crowd's going to be going crazy when he does. And I just have a feeling we might be looking at, it could end up being a little small robbery in this one, that we see Leon hold the title and Belal kind of get screwed over in this one. But I'm rooting for Leon. Nothing against Belal. I don't want the guy as champion. I just, although I think Hamzat could handle Belal, but don't see Hamzat making 170.
He said he's not returning unless he's fighting for the title. Will we ever see it? I do not know.
I'm sure we will. But yeah, dude, I'm going to go with the champion, a guy that I think is a true top 3 pound-for-pound fighter right now in the sport. I'm going to go Leon Rocky Edwards to get this one done via decision.